Hello and welcome to this presentation. The topic will be discourse analysis. My name is Juan Bustamante. The main point for the agenda will be the discourse analysis and the different elements of basic of text analysis and basic of conversation analysis. What is discourse analysis? Discourse can be defined as follows: language beyond a level of a sentence, language behavior linked to social practices, and language as a system of thought. The word discourse is usually defined as a language beyond the sentence, and so the analysis of discourse is concerned with the study of language in the text in conversation. Here we have the element of the basic test of analysis: cohesion, speech event, incoherence, in order to interpret the discourse. Cohesion is in the grammatical and or lexical relationship between the different elements of a text. We have an example here that we are going to analyze. There are connections to maintain reference to the same people or things. Further, the connections are going to maintain reference to the same people. Further, in the yellow color, we have the pronoun he. There are connections between phrases such as Lincoln convertible, that car, it, and the convertible. There are more general connections created by a number of terms that share a common element of meaning. In this case, money, bought, saving, penny, worth a fortune, salted, and pay. And about time, we have once, nowadays, and sometimes. All these connections or ties makes the cohesion in the text. Coherence is the relationship which link the meaning of utterances in a discourse or of a sentence in a text. We have an example here. Her, that's the telephone. Him, I'm in the bed. Her, okay. How do both the speaker manage to make sense of what the other says? The first speaker makes a request for the second speaker to perform the action. In this case, that's the telephone. The second speaker states reasons why he cannot comply with the request because he says, I'm in the bed. There are certainly no cohesive ties within this fragment of discourse. Here we see coherence, but no cohesion. Speech event is about taking part in conversation or any other speech event. For example, debate, interview, lecture, game, daily routine, etc. Conversational or conversation analysis is the activity in which, for the most part, two or more people take turns at speaking. Only one person speaks at a time, and there tends to be an avoidance of silence between speaking turns. If more than one participant tries to talk at the same time, one of them usually stops. As in the following example, where A stops until B has finished. We have speaker A and speaker B. We can see our small square bracket is a conventionally used to indicate a place where simultaneous or overlapping speech occur. In this case, eh, we can see the bracket after didn't you and before but. Turn taken. There are different expectations of conversational style in different strategies of participation in conversation. Some of these strategies seem to be the source of what is sometimes described by participants. The participant, characterized as rude or shy, in this way may simply be adhering to a slightly different convention of tone taking. In the next example, speaker X produced field passes with er in you know. We're going to check the example. In red color, we can see the passes with er in you know. I mean his other and also we can see er, you know, and m. Cooperative principle. One way of cooperating is by following some rules in conversation, which is called this rule maxim of conversation. These are for quantity, is the first. Make your contribution as informative as required. Do not say what you believe to be false. Relation. Be relevant, stay on the topic. And manner. Be clear, avoid ambiguity. We have two examples here. The first example, Speaker A, what's your name? Speaker B, my name is Gribble. This is follow all the mains of conversation, the maxim of conversation. Example B, or second example, where are you? In my clothes. This example violates the maxim of quantity. Edge. Edges can be defined as words or phrases used to indicate that we're not really sure that what we're saying is sufficiently correct or complete. Example, as far as I know, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not absolutely sure, but. Implicature. When we try to analyze how edges work, we usually talk about a speaker implying something that is not said. For example, Carol, are you coming to the party tonight? Lara, I got an exam tomorrow. Lara doesn't say yes or not. Background knowledge. A particularly good example of the process involved in using background knowledge was provided by Sanford and Garrow, who presented readers with a short text, one sentence at a time. Their text begins with the following sentence. John was on his way to school last Friday. He was really worried about the math lesson. What do you think? They think John is probably a schoolboy or John is walking, or that he is on a bus. Schema and script. Schema. A schema is a general term for a conventional knowledge structure that exists in memory. We were using your conventional knowledge of what a school classroom is like, or a classroom schema. Script, similar in many ways to a schema, is a script. A script is essentially a dynamic schema that is, instead of the set of typical fixed features in a schema. A, a script has a series of conventional actions that take place. We are going to see an example. We're going to read one paragraph. Trying not to be out of the office for long, Susie went into the nearest place, sat down, and ordered an avocado sandwich. It was quite crowded, but the service was fast, so she left a good tip. Back in the office, things were not going well. Schema. The woman who went to restaurant is Susie. Susie was an office girl. She went to the restaurant. She ate an avocado sandwich. Finally, she is back to the office. Script. We would assume that Susie opened a door to get into the restaurant, that were tables there, that she ate the sandwich, then she paid for it, and so on back to the office. Thank you for your attention and see you later.